Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter, with another episode of Ask a Crafter. I'm filming this on March 18th, 2021, and I am going through the batch of questions that you've recently left on my community tab. So if you would like to leave a question for an upcoming episode of Ask a Crafter, you want to go to my YouTube channel. You can click the name of my channel just under this video, and it will take you to my YouTube channel. And across the top of that, you will see different tabs, and one will say video, one will say playlist, one will say community, one will say about. You want to click on the community and then look for the most recent post that asks for Ask a Crafter questions, and that's where you post yours. And I decide the ones I'm going to read by popular vote. I usually go with the ones that have over 10 thumbs ups, unless there's a huge amount of questions that I might make the threshold a little bit higher, but I'm going to be answering every question that has more than 10 thumbs up as of March 18th. And I will be recording several videos today that will dole out over the next few weeks. So if you don't hear your question today and it was a popular one, then it will be coming up in an upcoming video. So let me make sure we're rolling. Oh, good, we are. We are going to start off with a question from Cynthia Odin. And by the way, I do paraphrase these questions if they're a little bit long. She's asking about watercolor swatches, and she's wondering why a lot of watercolor swatches have a gradient, like going from dark to light, and hers are just one color. So when I do my swatches, I generally will make a little square, and I will wet the square with just clear water, and I'll add the watercolor to the top, like third, and then I will either let it wick down or I will just gently work it back and forth with my brush so I get a gradient. You don't have to do that. It's whatever is useful to you as an artist. If you like seeing that gradient, if that helps you choose colors by seeing how light or dark it could become, then do your swatches that way. Could be you need a larger swatch to be able to grade it out perfectly. You'll get more control as you become a more skilled painter. So yeah, make your swatches bigger if you need to get that gradient if you want it. You don't have to have a gradient there. It's mainly so you can see what colors in those pans, because it's very deceiving when you look at a pan of watercolors. They're going to look a lot darker than they really come out on paper. So that's why you swatch them. So don't sweat it. But you can practice. You can definitely practice doing those gradients so that you can have your swatches look just the way you want. Let's see. The next question is from Pook Nero. I would like tips on how to approach local businesses to ask if they'd stock handmade cards or crafts. And also, a breakdown on angel policies and how to be mindful of them would be helpful. That's a great question. So one thing that you can do with local businesses, and it's really easy nowadays, is you can tag them on social media. You could message them on like Facebook and say, hey, I really love your shop. I think my artwork would go well in there. Are you taking new consigners, or are you taking on new artists? Because a lot of these shops work on consignment, which basically means that you bring in your products that are already priced, or they may have some guidance on pricing, and then they will put your things for sale, and they will keep a certain percentage of it. So it may be between like 30 to 50% commission on whatever that sells for. Maybe it's less. I think it depends on where you live and how expensive your products are. There's a place that I consign my cards, and they get a 30% commission. So I don't have to pay rent on a space like I did previously, and I don't have to staff it. I don't have to really do much except for give her a basket of cards every couple of months, and she can use what she wants to in her shop. So yeah, I think social media is kind of nice, because like say on Instagram, for instance, which is a very visual platform, if you message a company, a store, they can click over to your profile and see what you do, and that way they can decide whether it's something that would be for them or not. If you shop there regularly, just ask them at the front desk, like how do you go about getting your work in there, or do you have an application, or are you taking new artists? You can keep it really casual. You don't have to really put them on the spot, but I would make sure it's a place that has good foot traffic, and that their artwork is similar to what you are making, so that it's not like you're not doing something that's really avant-garde in a very conservative gallery, and vice versa. You want to make sure that you're a good fit. Greeting cards are great in places that sell giftwares, or any sort of gift items, because a card is such a natural thing to add on. That's why I had a shop in an antiques mall, because a lot of people would buy these antiques as gifts, and then they will, oh, I need a card, and they'd buy a card. Might as well just get it there rather than go to the grocery store or go to the Hallmark store, and you get a better card. You get a handmade card. So So that works out really well. And angel policies, basically an angel policy is a terms of use that stamp companies release and paper craft companies. So basically it's usually stamp companies. The angel policy tells you how you may use their stamps commercially. And generally, and I know there's some exclusions for licensed artwork, such as like Mickey, you know, like some companies will have Mickey Mouse stamps or cartoon characters that are from like licensed companies that they've paid to use their images. Sometimes there are restrictions against the licensed images, but generally they'll say, you know, you must, every company will have an angel policy. So if you have a rubber stamp and you want to make a card and you want to double check, then, you know, search that company's name and the word angel policy and you'll find it on their website. And generally what it will tell you is that you can make up to like 1,000 handmade cards for sale or of the same design or something like that. It's pretty, they're pretty generous generally. They basically don't want you photocopying the stamps. They don't want you to like design something with the stamps, like design a sheet of pattern paper using their stamps and then have it like mass produced and sell the pattern paper. They don't want that, but hand stamping is generally fine and dandy. Like you could, like this is a stamped necklace. You could make, this is a matchbox covered with clay. I can't remember who the tutorial was by. I saw it in a book. You know, I could sell, you know, one of these necklaces. That would be within the angel policy of the stamp that I used here. But if I sent that off to, you know, some company and I said, I want you to make necklaces like that with that design on it, that would not be allowed because that's mechanical reproduction. So generally if you're hand stamping and you're not making more than like 1,000 of the same thing, you're good. But you can always look up any company's angel policy. They're generally pretty good for stamp companies. They want you to use your products. Some may be restrictive, and honestly, I would be skeptical of a company with a restrictive angel policy because I would wonder that maybe they're not using images that they have rights to and they're trying to kind of control the spread of their images getting out. Or, you know, I've seen some shady, at stamp shows, I've seen some shady images. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure they don't have the rights to use Elvis Presley in their stamps. You know what I mean? Because there are certain things where you just know they've, you know, have been sued about intellectual property. So, you know, different entities. So anyways, yeah, you can look that up. Just basically gives you rights to, or tells you what your rights are as far as using the stamps in commercial use for sale. Okay. All right. Renee Casse. I probably just said that wrong. Renee, you're awesome. She's in my critique club. I mean, I talk to her all the time. It's like when you go to pronounce somebody's name, it's like, oh my word, have I talked? Do I know how to speak? Sorry, Renee. She wants some suggestions on using and storing colored pencils. I have several brands and hesitate to take them out of their original packaging. Also, best paper for colored pencils. I've heard of hot pressed watercolor paper, but also heard the paper should have some tooth for the pigment to hang on to. All right, Renee, those are great questions. So I know everyone asked me about that pencil holder that I have in the background, that white one. It's basically a spice rack turned on its side, and it works really well. I got that at Lecter's in the 90s, which was like a home goods store in the mall. But like you could use jars, you could use you know, a box with paper towel tubes cut up and put in there, you know, whatever you want. But there's nothing wrong with keeping them in the tins if you like them in the tins. Some people like to have them in pencil cases. I have, the only pencils I have in a case, so I can actually show you. I think I actually have it right here. I have my Inktense pencils and one set of 36 Prismacolor pencils in this tin. I mean this case. And this is my travel case. I take this camping with me. That way I know that things aren't going to get banged around. I really dislike using my pencils from a case unless I'm traveling because I find it cumbersome. I don't like taking things in and out of things. I don't like things with zippers and lids. I like things open and easy to access. I know I'm kind of funny about that. Like I take lids off of like those iris containers, you know, those 12x12 iris containers. I take the lids off of them because I have one of those little rolly carts. One of my friends got me for my birthday one year. Thanks, Kathy. And I don't like lids on things. I like to be able to get to everything quickly. So I would prefer to keep my stuff in a tin than put them in a case generally. So if the cases are working for you, keep them in the cases. I generally do, to be honest, except for my Prismacolors because I use them so frequently. They're out. I have one set of regular pencils, one set of watercolor pencils, and they're just right there for me to grab because a lot of times I just need a little something, and I find I'm just so familiar with Prismacolors because I've used them since I was a little kid in art class, and I just know how they're going to behave. But a lot of times, like I'm doing a piece of artwork and I need to use a particular pencil. For instance, if I'm going to do something that I want to hang up in light, like I'm doing a portrait or something, I don't tend to do you know, commissions or artwork for sale. But if I'm doing a portrait on one of my kids and I don't want it to fade, I'm going to use my Derwent Lightfast pencils. So I keep those in a tin. They're actually between a tin and a cigar box because I bought the tin of 72 and then I got the rest open stock to kind of fill in. So I didn't have a case for it. So I'm like, I'm a real mess. I get a tin in a cigar box like a hobo, like some artsy hobo. We're all artsy hobos, aren't we? So that's, you know, that's definitely an option. Basically what you want to make sure is that your pencils aren't going to get knocked and banged around and dropped. As long as you have them secure, that's going to be fine. You can also use something like what I have behind me. Oh my gosh, so many people ask me about this every week. This is from a scrapbook store. It was an EK Success pen display. And I removed like the little places where it would have like information. So I'd have more space. It works great. I wish I could buy them, but you can't. So, I mean, like I made this one here out of Nutri-Grain boxes, like a bulk thing of Nutri-Grain bars, like you might get at Sam's Club. And the box was like from here to here. And so I took, and it had 3 little boxes inside. So I took one of the little boxes, reinforced it, and glued it in the middle, and then I took the other 2 and put them on top and bottom and reinforced it with mat board, and it's great for my water-based markers. That would work for pencils too, but your pencils don't need to be horizontal, so I'd keep them upright so they don't slide out, because your pencils drop and you crack that lead in the middle and it's going to be a nightmare. So I would keep them upright unless you have a good slant to them, unless you know they're not going to spill out onto your floor. I like something that you can like pull onto your desk if you need to. That's why I like tins myself. Was there more to, oh, paper. Gosh, you know, that's personal preference, what you like for paper. Oh my gosh, you know what I'm using a lot now lately? I'll show you here. I don't know, I think in different countries, you know, things are different everywhere, but I'm really loving this paper by Honeymule. It's the, oh gosh, sorry about the glare. The Skizzle pastel paper. I think Skizzle is like sketch in like German maybe, I don't know. I don't speak German, but it's 100% cotton drawing paper. I really like it. It's got a nice tooth to it, but it's not, like, it's fairly smooth. I think the back side's a little bit smoother than the front side, but it's got just enough texture for me. I also like sanded paper a lot, but that really chews down your pencils, and it's personal preference, guys. Pastel matte, I found to be a little too time consuming for me for pencil, so I'm going to try that with pastel. What else? Stonehenge. I really like Stonehenge printmaking paper for pastel. Hot press watercolor paper, but I would say not the Arches because that's almost too slick, but like a Fabriano hot press watercolor paper. I'd say experiment with what you have because you probably have something that's going to work great already. You just need to figure out how many layers you want to do, how much tooth you want. If you don't want to do a lot of layers, you want to go with a smoother paper. You probably also want to go with a waxier pencil, like a softer pencil, so that you can blend it out without so many layers. There's so many pencils and there's so many papers that you know, you just gotta kind of figure out what's good for you. The toothier paper, the more layers, but also the more pencil it's going to use up. The smoother the paper, the quicker you're going to fill that tooth. So if you like to work faster, that might be a benefit. But if you like to work in a lot of layers and you like to mix your colors, then it's going to be a little more challenging. There's also colored pencil paper by Strathmore that you could use. I love toned paper because toned paper kind of gets some of the work done for you already. There's no best. There's whatever you like. Sorry about the water pump. I know that's a little obnoxious. Let's see. Some of these are just, some people just put a really nice comment. I love that. Thank you, Molly Burkett, for a nice comment. Let's see. Oh, here's one from Mojo Designs. Any new homemade dupes for new products being released that focuses on what's in your stash? Love these tips. I love your videos. Tell everyone I started watercoloring or was brave enough to try because of your videos on YouTube. Oh, thank you very much. It's very sweet. There was more to the comment, but I want to get to the question. Dupes for new homemade dupes for new supplies. Well, kind of. Actually, I just posted a video. Well, yeah, it should be up by now. I took a couple dollar store things. So this is like, I don't know what you call this, like maybe it's like a right angle. It's a metal ruler. It's got metric on one side and inches on the other. And I had my husband cut some wood to be the width of the 2 angles there, the two legs. And I use this for lining up for stamp positioning. I use it for lining up my gel prints. if I want to like print perfectly on a note card, or if I want to do a layered print, it works really well for that. You got to put a piece of plexiglass in there. The video is on my channel. Just look on the videos tab and just scroll back I don't know, probably a week or so. It's a great handy tool, and I was inspired by this because I saw the Jelly Arts Perfect Placement Tool, but it was like $60, and it was just a piece of plastic. And there were these pegs that you had to move around to like to figure out what kind of border you wanted, and your plate would go right up into the corner. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna get pinged on my tool if I do that. And you can only work with like 8 by 10 and lower. And I'm just like, no, I love the idea, but it's not quite what I want. And then I thought, well, if I did something like this, I can use this with I can use this with a triangle. I can use it with one of these to like line up when I'm drawing to get a perpendicular or horizontal line, like for a horizon. This is just so much more versatile, and it costs $3. You know, because you got one of these for if you want to like line up stickers or things on a scrapbook page. Yeah, scrap wood. That's probably the latest thing that I've done. And nothing else is really coming to mind. There's probably things, but I'll scroll back on my channel and you'll see if I've come up with anything else brilliant. I don't know. I feel like everything's been done. You know what I mean? I don't feel like there's many new products to even dupe these days because everything's been done. Everything is, well, you know, I saw that Simon Hurley had that moldable pen, the moldable stamp material, and it's like that was Magic Stamp from like 20 years ago, or Pen Score from like 20 years ago. And I did a video on it using bath blocks like 10 years ago, so it's like, it's nothing new. I just think that a lot of things that are coming out now are just reinventions of stuff that's already been out. So, yeah. All that stuff that was out before YouTube, I think, is really making a comeback, and a lot of people don't remember it, so they just go out and buy it again, or buy it for the first time. Let's do one more question, because we're 16 minutes in. Let's see. Denise Smith Creative says, I would love to see you bring on some more mixed media journal pages. I know there are many out there, but you bring a certain flair. I'm ready to buy the 30 pack of stencils. I think I'm getting the right ones. Cookie stencils. Okay, so I recommended a set of stencils, and I'll try to remember to link it down below. I should. It was a 30 pack. It had a really awesome variety of designs, and it was under $12 on Amazon. They're 6x6 geometric stencils. They're called geometric stencils. And I will link that down below so you guys can find that. Because the cookie stencils are tiny. They're meant for like dusting powdered sugar and stuff on cookies. So you want to get those 6x6 geometric stencils. They're a heck of a deal. And that is going to wrap it up for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have a question, make sure you go to my community tab on my channel and look for the most recent Ask a Crafter thread. I always type comments closed on the top of the threads that I've already answered the questions for. And if you haven't heard your question today, it's probably, and you've already posted it and it got more than 10 thumbs ups, then it will be in an upcoming video. Thanks for watching. Until next time, happy crafting. Bye.